going on YouTube? Just doing a quick collection update video. This one will be on my blood pythons. I'm currently in my new reptile setup. Don't have a snake room anymore, but I do have my enclosures in the garage right now. First going to be showing you my adults that I have in a 3-foot Neodesha or Neodesha cage right now. Tracy and Dave Barker, they breed their blood pythons in 3x2 cages as well. It gives them a more confined area for them to kind of do their business. Once they're done breeding, I'll separate them, put them in their own 4-foot enclosures. If you guys are lucky, you might see me get bit today because I'm going to be handling the female as well, female adult blood python, which I got as a hatchie, but she, yeah, she's not as friendly as my big male. But she's a big girl. Got her as a hatchling. So this is Harley, and you guys probably remember Harley from some of the other sorry, I'm losing my train of thought right now. Usually I kind of just let her do her thing. I don't really manipulate her for videos. She's doing some huffing and puffing and hissing, but I don't think she means to hurt me. I'm trying to support her body as much as possible. They are a heavy-bodied snake. I don't appreciate being held with so many points of, so little points of contact. So you can see I'm kind of resting her on my leg as well as supporting her with both hands. I'll use both my thighs now to support. She's big, and right now she's got her she's got her face right on my she had her face right on my forearm, kind of checking it out, but I don't smell like rat today, luckily. But she is just she's just a pretty Bronger's Mai, Python Bronger's Mai, no color mutation or anything like that. This is the female I got back in 2013, I think it was. You can see her kind of just trying to wiggle out of my hold. She's very jumpy. Her tail just touched my thigh right now and she freaked out a little bit. Her name's Harley because you could I tend to name my animals by the markings on their body. She's got a nice little H on her tail. So she's a breeding age. She's 4 years old now. She's a 2012 hatchling. I got her in 2013. I did have her with my male martyr line Python Bronger's Mai, but I've since given that male to the reptile curator at the zoo that I used to work for. So she's my prettiest blood python right now. The male was a nice dark rich red blood color. Yeah, I don't hold her for more than a couple seconds just to move her around, so this is actually testing her patience a little bit. So I'm gonna put her back and grab the male. Actually, rather, I'm gonna set her down. She's kind of just cruising the ground right now. I'm gonna pull out my male before setting her back in there. Male's a lot more docile. That's what I'll say right before I get bit, right? So he's less pretty, but he's a brown coloration. You know, these guys aren't as coveted as the dark red ones. I'm going to pick him up in a second once I put her away, because she's trying to go under my car right now. Woo! That was close. So, back into the enclosure she goes. That's being closed up. I'll give you a closer view of Bludda. Got this guy in 2008. He's a 2007 hatchling. And got him here locally in San Diego when I lived here, when I was living here in 2008. He's a big male. Keep him lean, ready to breed. These guys tend to get a little bit too fat. Obesity is a big problem for them, and then they tend not to, just like with berms, when animals get too big, not able to move around as easily, they don't ventilate as well, so they've got long lungs, and you know, the theory is the air doesn't get to the back of their lungs and it gets stagnant and whatnot, so they need to be able to move around and stretch and all that good stuff. These guys have historically been kept, of course, way too wet, with not a lot of good circulation, and that of course leads to upper respiratory issues. I've had one respiratory issue with him in the 8 years that I've kept him, and that was because he was in a temporary plastic tub while I was building some melamine enclosures. Yeah, and that's what happened. That, you know, it was too cold. Didn't have a lot of space, not a lot of ventilation, even though there were plenty of holes drilled into the sweater box. This is my big male, so I'm gonna actually put him back around my neck while I take out this. Well, alright, I guess he doesn't want to chill on my neck. I'm gonna put him away rather, and then I'm gonna bring out the third blood python in my collection. So he's plopped back in now. He can continue doing his business. Now, if I get bit in this video, it's probably going to be most likely by this new one. She's a baby, so she's not as accustomed to being held as much as the others. So, you can see she's sticking her tail straight out. Okay. I'm just kind of avoiding her body right now so that she doesn't strike towards her tail. So I'll wait till she calms down. But this is a 2016 blood python. Python Brunger's Mai. She's relaxing a bit. She is heterozygous for albino. And there's two types of albinos in blood pythons, if you're not familiar. There's a T positive albino, which is they just have less melanine,